Hi folks, I'm Nathan with Two Guys and a Ride, and welcome to our car tech how-to video on the 2024 Mercedes-Benz AMG EQE SUV. Today, I'll be covering the driver's information and infotainment screens. I'll do a general overview, show you how to access information, and do a deep dive. Let's get started.
Today, we're working with our friends at Sears Imported Autos, selling beautiful Mercedes-Benz in Minnetonka, Minnesota.
All right, so the driver's screen is a 12.3-inch screen. And as standard in Mercedes, there's tons of ways to configure this. And to do that, we're going to use, on the left side of the steering wheel, we've got a back button, a click for OK, and then the cursor arrows, and then a home button. And that's what we'll be using. Okay, so to start with, if I just press the home button, okay, I have a bunch of different themes I can select from, okay? And we'll go through those in a little bit. You just swipe along here, and there we go. So this is the classic view, and in here, of course, you get your speedometer on the left, and then over on the right, you're gonna get a percentage of power used. The harder you step on the accelerator, of course, the higher the needle will go because you're using more power. And then you have a recuperation setting down below that you can see. You can also see underneath the speedometer, you've got how much percentage of your battery left. It says we got 129 miles, a max of 153 if we conserve. And then, of course, you got the navigation in the middle, which that can be changed as well. And then you got your gear selector and your outdoor temperature and your drive mode and your gear selector on the far right. All right, there's a bunch of ways to change the screen in the middle, and you just do that by swiping down on the trackpad that says OK. So if I go down the first screen, I'm going to get various numbers of different temperatures for the car. I'm going to get the setup for the AMG, for as far as your engine, suspension, and so forth goes. And then if I go down here, again, I get engine data, and I actually have to shift from park to show you this, so I can't do that. But you have your pound-foot of torque over on the left. You got the horsepower showing up on the right. Go down again. Okay, this is a trip meter. Go down again. This is a trip meter from start. I think we got a couple more screens here. Yep. From the last reset, again, a trip meter. Eco display. That'll show you how well or economically you're driving. Not sure you want to use that screen in an AMG, but it's there. It'll show you consumption from start. It'll show you your range. Kind of a cool little graphic there. Your attention assist system, okay? Yeah, that's going to tell you to take a break if it senses you're weaving on the road or your hands are off the steering wheel too much. That can be turned off. You got your media, and since I'm in media, if I just swipe, I can change favorites. All right, I'm going to go down again, and I'm back to navigation. Okay, now, if I press OK, I can set destinations for the map. If I click on there, okay, so you can look at previous destinations and favorites. I can do a zoom quick if I want, just by dragging on this, which is really cool. Hit back a button, back again, and then I go down to map settings, and I can quickly change some of these basic views, okay? So right now it's just set to 3D, and I really like that view, so I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to hit the back button. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to press the home screen, and we're going to swipe one to the left, and we're going to look at Super Sport. So this one's really cool. It puts your miles per hour up at the top of the screen, as well as your cruise control, lane keeping assist. But then over on the far left, you get a percentage of power used and a percentage of charge. And then over on the far right, there's still a percentage of charge in the blue, percentage of power used on the right. So it's kind of, they reflect each other, which is kind of cool. If I press the OK button, I can reset the odometer by swiping over and clicking yes. Okay, that's your option there. All right, I am going to go to the home button, and I'm going to go over here to understated. So this just gets rid of a lot of information if you don't want to have all that stuff showing up. So it ghosts out like your speedometer, it ghosts out your percentage of power used, that kind of stuff. Removes stuff from the center of the screen. If you press this is where you can change that color. Not my favorite color right here, so, you know, but you can change all sorts of things, right? So really cool. Then that is maybe more relaxing on a longer drive when you don't need to see all the information. All right, let's hit the back button. Okay, I'm gonna click the home button. Okay, so that was understated. So we're gonna go to navigation. Now in this one, we get the full screen for navigation, which is just awesome. You got your miles per hour up above, you've got your cruise control, lane keeping assist, all that stuff on the top. You got your percentage of battery left on the left, and you got your percentage of power on the right. Now, so it just gives you a nice big full 12.3 inch navigation screen, which is really, really cool. All right, I'm gonna press the OK button to see what we can change in here. And again, this is the same as things that we saw earlier when the navigation map was squeezed between the two gauges. So I'm gonna just press home. All right, so this one is going to show you your different assistance screens. So if you have a cruise control on, lane keeping assist, you know, your distance from another car, all that stuff, this is going to show up here, and then moves everything else to the bottom and the top of the screen. If I press the OK button in this screen, I can look at destinations. All right, so I'm going to go back, hit home, and swipe over it. Off-road is a cool set of gauges. Okay, so at the top you get your steering wheel angle. At the middle of the screen you get your left to right angle of the vehicle. You've got a compass in the middle, which is really cool, and then over on the far right, of course, it gives you your percentage of power being used, and your percentage of charge right there. Okay, if I hit OK in this screen, there's nothing I can change. This is what you get. All right, I'm gonna hit the back button, hit the home button. We'll go over here. That was off-road. And then the last page is service. Okay, so right here, it'll tell you if anything needs to be serviced. It also gives you your tire pressure, and then Assist Plus when that's due. And then, of course, you get the temperatures that we saw earlier for the motor and the batteries over on the far right. Okay, so hit this again, go back to home. Now, if this had a HUD display, which this one doesn't, you could also access that by swiping, I believe it's up. So I want to show you the gauges down here. These AMG gauges, they're really cool. So you can either click on the screen here or click on the paddle wheels. So basically, if it says AMG Dynamics here, then this paddle is going to change your dynamics. So every time you click, you're going to go into a different mode. All right. If I go down here, well, this says AMG. If I go down here and click, then I can change things. I can change the suspension. Okay, so Comfort, Sport, Sport Plus, okay? And then I can go to sound, and I can change the sound of the car. I can go down here and turn traction control on or off, and those are my choices. Okay, so now I can click this again, and that's traction control on or off. So I just moved it from that screen to this one, and then I'm back to AMG Dynamics. Okay, so basically this button will choose the area, and then the tab will actually change it. Okay, over on the far right, you've got your drive modes. So this is, you can click on this, but it just brings up the screen on the infotainment side. So you just rotate it. Okay, it's got some, it's got a distinctively different sound between normal or comfort mode, sport, and sport plus. Definitely different sound. All right, that's it. Now we're going to move over to the infotainment screen. Okay, so moving over to the infotainment screen, we have a 12.3 inch screen that's measured diagonally, and this is the 0 layer MBUX, and you can go back to the traditional one by just pressing home, and then you can go to classic if you want. Okay, we are going to go over the 0 layer version. All right, so basically what it's going to do is it's going to, whatever app you want running is going to run, navigation or media, whatever, but then it's going to pop up suggestions, things you normally do at certain times of the day. And so and this takes a while to learn, as it gets better as the longer you drive it. But if you always stop and get a coffee at 8 o'clock in the morning at a certain place on the way to work, it's going to suggest what you like to go to, and it'll pop it up, and then it keeps the screen open for everything else. And so the idea is that you have the display you want, but things that you do most often at certain locations or times is all put into here. All right, now down below this part of the screen, these controls will always stay here. And then in addition to that, you've got a few actual buttons. Now they're capacitive touch buttons, but they're there all the time, and this is there all the time. This is your climate. So you have fan control here, you've got temperature control here, and then of course you can set it to auto, you can turn your defrost on, your recirculatory part on, AC on or off. If you want to do something else other than that, then you have to hit the climate menu, and then you have these additional features right here. Okay, you can also set the pre-entry climate control, so you can edit departure times just by going in here, and then you can say add a new time, and then pick it, and then at that particular time it's going to warm up or cool down the car for you. Activation when unlocked, okay, or activation when it's locked. Okay, let's get out of there. Let's go to home for a minute. So that's all right there. The physical buttons, you have one that brings you right to your settings. So for this one, you can't actually slide them. It's interesting. So you can change there though to slippery. It gives you reduced power. You can do an individual setting for drive, suspension, and sound, and then you've got sport mode, and then you've got sport plus mode. Okay, so that's where you can adjust that, and you can turn the traction control off or on right there. Really neat graphics. Okay, that's the AMG button. If I go here, okay, this is going to turn on my rear view camera, my 360 right now, because I'm not in reverse. Okay, so I can select the view here by spinning the car around, which is beautiful. Okay, beautiful area right here where I'm sitting. And then you've got the forward camera, rear camera, from the side, which I really like that angle kind of going in, right side, auto, okay, and then parking sensors on or off. And so my understanding on auto here is that that's going to allow the camera to automatically come on at low speeds, like in a parking lot. Now, this one over here allows you to save a location based on GPS or GPS coordinates. So if you're somewhere and you say, I always want my camera to come on at this point, well, just bring up the camera, tap the screen if the controls aren't there, and hit that button. It's already been saved. Okay, that's all you have to do. And then every time you drive to that location, the camera's going to come on automatically. Okay, well, really nice camera. I love it that it takes up the usable screen area, and it's a really good picture. And then the last thing I'll mention here is that it does have parking assist, so it will help park you. So, but you have to be driving to do that. But you just click there and then follow the directions on the screen. So that was your camera button. This brings up your charging setup. So here's where it shows you where you are, how many miles you have left, what the max would be if you want to charge it up. Charging program, you can set it for standard, home, or work. Okay, you can have eco charging turned on or off. That will only charge the battery to 80%. You can open the socket flap from here. You can pause charging right there, and then you can preset the temperature for the battery right there. That's set on automatic. And then down here, if you look at route, so for instance, if I do just this, hey Mercedes, navigate to Fargo, North Dakota.
Here is what I found. Where do you want to go? Calculating route. Please follow the road for 500 feet.
Now, if I go up here and I look at my route, okay, I can look at charging stations along the route, okay, and so then I can pick one. Like, I'll go with this one that's 123 miles away, okay, and I can add it to my navigation. So then it's automatically going to take me there and then reroute me to my original route. So you got some really nice features there. I'm just going to go back there. Now, continuing on down here, this is the vehicle button, and this is going to do things like car wash mode. So you're going to go to car wash, just click that, and everything is set for you to enter a car wash. Click that if you have snow chains on, you want to raise the level of the vehicle, downhill speed control, parktronic sensors, lane keeping assist, and then the orange means it's active, no color means it's not active, interior protection, tow away alarm, and then we've got one more thing here. This is all settings. So if you can't find it where we were, then you can go into all settings here. And then what you do is you have these items, but they're all under this menu of assistance. So if you go over to vehicle, you get a different one. If you go over to lights, you get a different one. This has beautiful ambient lights here. You can have a welcome and farewell projection. You can set other things like the dynamic low beams. Daytime running lights can be turned on or off, but you do, in most states, if not all, get an insurance discount for having those, so that'd be probably a good thing to keep on. If you want to take a look at the 360 of the vehicle, you're going to notice that little lines and dots appear. If I spin the car, different ones appear. And then I can click on info, and I can see what that's about. All right. So, the next button over, of course, is hazards. And then this is a touch sensor that will, I haven't activated Mercedes Me yet, so that's not going to work yet, but that would set up your driver profile, which will do all of your favorites, your screen setup, your dashboard setup, even your AMG modes, whatever you want there. You normally drive in, your sound settings, your favorites for your media, just tons of stuff, okay? So that's where you can program in. You do have a power button here. Okay, that just will turn the display off or the whole system. Now, if you're driving and you want stuff to still talk to you and you want your music, but you don't want the brightness, you can just turn the display off. This part will stay. Tap it and it comes back on. If you actually want to turn the whole system off, then you can click there. Then you have an automatic mute button right here. And then you can slide for volume. Okay, now let's go back to home for a minute. You do have a couple of other buttons up here. You've got a back button, and then you've got a search forward, and this is going to be your favorites on your media. Okay, so if I want to go to my media, right now it's showing it up as a zero layer icon. Okay, so I just go here and it brings up a little window, but keeps my main window there. And I can do everything I need to here. I can, I can change sources if I want by going here. Okay, it's interesting. Again, I'll note that Mercedes does not include AM radio, but there are apps you can download on your phone and use through Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. Okay. You can look at favorites. You can look at just FM radio right here if you want. Okay, so, but the other way to do this is to go to home again, twice, and go to radio. Now you get that full screen view if you want that. So, real nice, just click and swipe here, and you've got FM, and you got Sirius XM right there. So, and they're built the same way. So, They're built the same way. So you can, if you can run one, you can run the other. So let's just say I want to add a favorite, okay? So I'm going to click here. Gonna hold it a little longer. There. And it actually shows you the icon going up into favorites, which I think is kind of cool. All right. So besides swiping, you can also tune down here. If you want, you can tune by going to this, and then you can look at channels. You can make these favorites by clicking on the star. You can look by category, featured favorites, all that kind of stuff. All right. Now, if I go back here, and you can also click on the search button here, and then you can type in like a channel number that you know in either in FM or Sirius XM. So that's how you're going to tune it. That's how you're going to save a favorite. Now, how do you manage favorites? Well, if you go to favorites, okay, and we've got one right here. If I go to favorites, there's the one that I saved earlier. I can click here and get rid of the favorite. All right, how do you adjust the sound? So besides volume, how do you adjust the treble, the bass, and this has got the nice Burmester surround sound system in it. And if I go to here, then I have sound profiles. I can create a personal sound profile, which will be saved with your driving profile. Okay, you just have to touch the gear there, lever there to set it up. I can go to pure, or I can go to 3D sound. Okay, kind of your preference as to what you'd like to do. If I click there, yeah, you just click start and follow the directions. Yes. Okay, equalizer. So this one here, you're gonna have to click up or down. Can't scroll. I wish you could just scroll, but I can't seem to get that part to do that. So I believe you have to click on them. Okay, but you can adjust treble, mid, and bass there. Balance and fade is here. This one you can click and drag. Okay, that's all that haptic feedback in the infotainment screen that you're hearing kind of rattle. Sound focus, where do you want it? Front, back. Loudness normalization. So, this will automatically adjust the volume of the car if there's more ambient noise, like at higher speeds, and it will make the music a little louder. And if you're driving in a city street where it's quieter, it's going to lower the volume. The net effect is that the volume stays the same to your ear. So that's where that is all located. So that is Sirius XM and FM. Now that button right there is just another way to get at volumes, okay? This one is just another way to see favorites. Okay, so now if I press the home screen again, if you take a look at the map quick, I mean, look at this. This is really, this is quite responsive. I don't think you can twist it here, but you certainly can zoom in, zoom out, okay? All right. Let's go to home for a minute again. Media is just anything that's not radio or your phone. So it would be USB if you have that connected, or Bluetooth through a phone. Okay. Now, let's hit home here for a minute. Home again. All right, so let's talk about off-road. This is a cool graphic here. So again, you got your traction here for each tire. You got your steering angle, and then you've got, of course, your tilt left or right, your tilt forward and back, and then over here, these are set to be the same, but you notice the arrows, you can change these. So I can have this one set to show me suspension, this one to show me traction. Okay, I can do that position. I can do the warm-up there. I can look at engine data, and then I'm back to drive. And these have the same choices, but you can pick which ones you want to be want to have showing, and that's really cool. Now over here, if I click this button, okay, front camera image, because you're assuming you're off-roading, you want to see it. Now look how it's grayed out there. That is just way cool. Okay, so you can see what you're gonna about to go over. All right, if I take that off here, if I put on downhill road control here, that'll activate it. And then this is the suspension setting. Okay, So really neat things on that screen that you can look at, and then you can adjust. Okay, if I look at comfort here, of course, you've got seat kinetics, and that is designed not as a massaging program, but as a way to keep you awake and alert while you're driving, which is really cool. And all you got to do is just hit play, and it's going to start. Okay, driver or passenger. You can also just tap the seat to start or stop it, either way. Now, you got heated settings here. Okay, so you can set the balance. You can kind of see where the color's changing. What part of the seat do you want heated? And you can do the same for the passenger there. Okay, automatic seat position. You can actually set in your height, and then you can hit start position if you want. I always prefer to set my own, but this does have 3-person memory settings that are built right into the door. And then, of course, you have ambient light. I was saying this has a beautiful ambient light system. It's just incredible. But you can have monochrome, so you're going to have one color. It'll show you in the picture up here where you're going to see it. Okay, you can have multicolor. And then here you can just select. And you can, I'm not sure if it'll pick up in the camera, but it's kind of showing like a little bit of yellow here and then blue back here, and that's really cool. And what I like about what Mercedes does with this is you can say link the zones, and then you can change the brightness for every zone at one time, or you can say unlink the zones, and I just want this zone brighter. I do like that. And then you even have effects. So you can turn on warning when exiting, climate, greeting, charging. And this is a simple click on or off if you want that ambient light effect. Okay? And you can always click on the eye there if you want to see more information on that. All right. Let's swipe over here for a minute. Let's take a look at the performance. All right, so here you got 5 different things. You've got the energy flow, drive vehicle, e-motor, and then IWC. So if I go up here and energy flow, what you're going to see is you're just going to see the picture of where the energy is flowing as you're driving. On drive, you can see on the front, for both the front and the rear motor, because this is dual motored, you can see RPM and pound-feet of torque right there. You can also see if it's charging, and you can see the temperatures. Okay, that is really cool. Now, as far as the vehicle itself goes, okay, here you've got a whole bunch of things, man. You got your tilt right and left. You got your compass. You got your degree of steering. You've got inclination. You got left to right. A tilt. You've got front to back tilt. That is really cool. And then you can go over here and you can see even more information. There's so much packed in here. Under E-motor, you're going to get power, pound-feet of torque, charge, pound-feet, and then horsepower over here and horsepower up here for power, and then horsepower as far as charge goes. So it's just really, really cool. I mean, so much information. And then here you can have this watch as a timer, okay, which is cool. I love the look of that. You can just hit start, and there it goes. Hit stop, and you can hit reset. It's kind of a cool little graphic. All right, let's go back. So we're gonna go back here, and we're gonna talk about the apps for a minute. So you can have, this is the Mercedes Me app. You got a browser. You can do a beginner driver mode, you got a valet service mode, and then a gallery of pictures if there's an accident. the cameras will take a picture and store them. Okay, which is really cool. And this is where you go in to see them. And I don't think there is, yeah, it's already on all. So, okay, so let's go back here, hit it twice. Let's talk about settings. All right, so under assistance here, we saw this briefly, but under driving, you can downhill speed regulation. You can have that on or off. That's good for off-road. It's not much good for anything else, but it is good for off-road, and this is built to go off-road. Okay, you can have active braking assist on or off, active lane keeping assist on or off, blind spot assist on or off, assistance on or off, camera, GPS-based navigation. You can actually see the location where I did it. So I can edit that if I want and rename it, or I can just delete it. Right? And you can open the camera cover. Parking, parking space and camera image, right, in reverse. So if you want that to happen, you're going to click that. Depends on how you view things. You can set the warning tones. So that's your volume. What I like is they've put a tone in pitch. So depending on your hearing, you can adjust that. I think that's awesome. Okay. Let's see. Okay, that's there. Let's go to vehicle. Sound experience. Okay, event sounds outside. That's what I probably didn't have. Yeah. Okay, this is cool. So this was turned off when I was videotaping earlier, and the car had no, even though I had Sport Plus on and inside it sounded fantastic, outside you couldn't hear a thing. That's where you fix that problem. Now you'll be able to hear that throttle sound, that engine sound, outside as well as inside. So if you got the AMG, I definitely leave that on. Okay, you can have GPS-based raising. Okay, so you can mark a spot. If you go to the gear here, you can store positions on request, always save positions, or delete all saved positions. So what happens is, if you say store positions on request, if you go somewhere and say, oh, there's a speed bump here or whatever, something I need to raise, okay, that's fine. It will remember that. And the next time you're there, it'll just do it automatically. So how cool is that? Okay, you can have snow chain mode on or off. You can have creep function if you want. Car wash mode, we already saw that. Now, under comfort, okay, easy entry and exit feature, I would set these up here. But basically, you can say, I want the seat position and I want the steering wheel. Or I want the steering wheel and the seat position. And what that's going to do is when you turn the car off and open the door, your seat is going to go down, slide back as far as it can, and the steering wheel is going to go in and up as far as it can to make it easy to get out. When you get in, start the car, it's going to recognize your profile. It's going to put the seat back where you want it and the steering wheel back where you want it. So that's a really cool feature. Roof roller sunblind. Okay, so you can have that on or off. Okay, occupant protection, occupant presence remind. So if you get out of the vehicle, it's going to remind you to check the back seat. Belt adjustment. If it senses there's a collision that's imminent, it's going to pre-tighten your belt for you. You'd want to leave that on. Open and close things. Okay, vehicle protection. On or off. I'd leave it on. You can say, I want collision photos. Then you can manage them. You can upload those photos there. Tow-away protection, interior motion sensor. That's all turned on. With some really cool things. Automatic mirror folding if you want. So you park the car, mirrors, turn it off, mirrors automatically fold for you. Okay. Dynamic select. These are just the drive modes here. So this is an individual mode, and this is where you can say, well, for drive, I want reduced, moderate, sport, or dynamic. For dynamics, I want basic, advanced, or pro. And for suspension, I want comfort, sport, or sport plus. And let me tell you, this thing handles like a go-kart on wheels. I mean, it's just wow, it is really fun to drive. All right, we've already covered that, but interior and exterior lighting. Okay, locator lighting. If you turn that on, when you click your key fob, these lights are going to come on. Okay, interior lighting delay. Okay, you get in, you close the door, it's nighttime. How long do you want the lights to stay on? Well, you can go from, nope, they shut off right away, or up to 60 seconds of light before they dim. Okay, this is where you can turn on the Hey Mercedes function. Let's just take a look at the gear. It'll take direct commands, okay? So you should be able to say that, hey, Mercedes, and it automatically responds without having to push the button on the steering wheel. Okay, displays, you can change your display brightness right here. So this is the driver's display and this is the central display. Okay, and you can do the same thing for the driver display right there. Okay, home screen can be set to 0 layers or traditional. Graphical goodies. Okay, so these are fun. You can have them on or off, but basically if you leave it on, you know, around holidays, you'll start to see, you know, interesting, like say Halloween, you might see a witch flying across your screen on a broomstick. Or on Christmas, you might see a reindeer or Santa sleigh or something somewhere, you know, in your navigation or somewhere. It's just kind of fun. So you want to have a little holiday spirit, leave that one on. Okay, don't have time to get into everything here, but you can open up the operator's digital manual. I think it's just easier to watch our videos, but that is there if you need it. Okay, now I'm gonna go back here to home. So that is it for the driver's information and the infotainment screen on the all-new 2024 Mercedes-Benz AMG EQE SUV. Hope this has been helpful. Thanks for watching.